What is going on, everyone? What is going on? Lots of snow. All right, let's do a quick overview of this L5P fuel system. Uh, just want to look at the fuel flow through this guy so you can see kind of the feed and where everything goes and how everything happens. So here is your main inlet. You've got a fuel pump and you've got a filter and such down there at the tank area there, and it'll push fuel up. I think 60 psi or something like that, 100 psi. Nothing major. A nice feed pressure. It feeds into the main fuel pump here. So here is your engine-driven high-pressure fuel pump. It feeds into here. This guy will feed into internally into this guy, which is your fuel pressure regulator. Now, the fuel pressure regulator will restrict fuel going to the pistons, which are 1, 2 over there, and 3 down bottom. The regulator restricts fuel going to the pistons, which will determine the output of the pump going to your injectors and such. But it's going to allow a lot of fuel flow through the pump and just to kind of flow in around the pump to get what's known as cascade. It cascades past here and it will flow through the pump as a lubrication circuit. So you need lots of that fuel flow inside the pump to lubricate the pump and keep that going. And then that return flow from the lubrication circuit comes out to here, and we'll talk about this pipe that it joins up with, but then you see it comes out, you follow it along, and there becomes your main return flow. So you have your main feed here, and here's your main return, and like I say, you should have quite a bit of return flow because that is your lubrication circuit for your pump. So if you don't have a lot of return flow, that means your pump is not getting a lot of lubrication, right? So you have to make sure of that one. And then we'll talk about these two pipes coming into your return feed as well. From your regulator to your main feed for your engine there, you have the 3 pumps. And if you look, each of these pumps has 2 outlets. One of them, they kind of feed parallel. So you see this first pump outputs to the bottom one. The bottom one will output to this one on the side. And then this one on the side now has the output of all 3 of them. And you follow this pipe as the output pipe. And you'll see it comes along. And that becomes the feed into your main rail or your common rail that would be for your injectors. This one is a direct feed which goes in and around behind underneath there, comes up here, and this one is the feed for your other injector rail that goes in along here. From your injectors and from your injector rails, the injectors do their work. Again, you're going to have lots of overflow from the injectors, both for the injection and because you need that lubrication in your injectors. So these guys become your return feed from your injectors, and they return into here. Same thing on this rail. You have your return feed. It comes around, and that's the one that joins up with your main pump cascading return for your lubrication, and they all join up to the main return. This guy here on this injector rail, it will have another fuel pressure regulator, and then there'll also be a relief in there. So this will be the return for a main pressure relief valve, as well as a secondary fuel pressure regulator in the system. So that's the basics of your L5P fuel system. Bam!